Live from Augusta. We're watching News 1226 at 11.
Good evening and happy Easter. The weather has been nice, but there could be some rain coming during the week. Take a look at your forecast in just a few minutes. But first, this Easter Sunday was marked with services and nonprofits looking to help their communities. Volunteers at Golden Harvest Food Bank and Compass for Hope spent parts of their Easter Sunday making the day better for others. Our Wrdw is live with us in studio with more on that.
Some nonprofits are seeing the need increasing here, bringing out volunteers even on holidays like Easter, giving out free meals, handing out supplies, and showing love to people within our community. Coming together to celebrate Easter, and coming together to give back.
People love to fellowship and be together. It is one of those days that it's just a family day. And down at the Master's Table Soup Kitchen, all families should have a meal. All families should enjoy at Easter.
Every week, organizations like Golden Harvest and Compass for Hope help people in Augusta.
Oftentimes, depression and other anxieties creep in around the holidays, and so to elevate what we offer during that same time, I think is a big way to make sure people know that we care, that somebody cares.
But they say on a day like Easter, it's even more important to show love to our community.
Sometimes people far walk away or forget about the importance of Easter, really what Easter is all about. And then also the family-oriented family feeling that comes with Easter.
And the need is great across the CSRA.
Things have unfortunately grown. I would love to say that the efforts that are being made are reducing the homeless population, but we keep seeing it grow. We're constantly serving more and more people out here.
Offering a helping hand no matter the day.
We knew we weren't making a difference sitting at home on Sundays, and so we came downtown to see where we could help, and it started extremely humble, but it has grown and grown into the different things that are being offered all around us. So it's something I'm so happy to be a part of.
For more information on volunteering for Golden Harvest or Compass for Hope, visit wrdw.com.
Alrighty, thanks for checking in with all those great nonprofits this Easter, Audrey. Now we're going to head over to weather, but first, a reminder for tomorrow that construction crews will be working on the diverging diamond as part of the road widening project in Columbia County. Taking you to a live picture there, some temporary lane closures are expected to start in the morning at 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, both tomorrow and Tuesday. Now, Emily, I do hear we're going to start off pretty well this work week.
Yeah, Craig, the conditions couldn't be better. That's the best way to put it. What we saw today, that's going to be a copy and paste for our Monday. Maybe a little bit more cloud cover out there, but overall great conditions. To start off our Monday, we're going to be in those upper 50s, low 60s, so relatively mild and even warm start to our day. We'll warm up even more than that, expecting to see those high temperatures again increase to right around 82, 83 degrees tomorrow afternoon. But there's going to be a little bit of mix of cloud cover that will come into play later on in the afternoon. Those wind speeds still pretty gusty out there, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, but those wind gusts could be up to 20 miles per hour, and that trend's going to continue throughout the greater part of our week as we approach this front that is moving through come Wednesday. And obviously it's not Easter on Tuesday. Today's Easter. Got to update that graphic real quick for us, but rain chances do come into play Wednesday, Craig, and I'll have that broken down for you coming up soon.
Thanks for that heads up, Emily. Now taking things to South Carolina, one person is dead after a police chase in Aiken County ended with them crashing into an ambulance. Aiken officials say it happened just before 10:30 p.m. last night on Richland Avenue West near Augusta Road. The coroner identified 20-year-old Alonzo Carter as that victim, and they say he crashed into the ambulance from behind as he led the South Carolina Highway Patrol on a chase. The crew in the ambulance went to the hospital, and there was no patient in there at the time of the crash. And police in Nashville, Tennessee are investigating a mass shooting that happened at a coffee shop today. They say a gunman opened fire during an Easter brunch. One person died and several others were injured and ended up in the hospital.
This was an isolated incident, obviously. It's not something that's indicative of this particular area. As you can see, the area is really nice. It's just an isolated incident, and we'll make sure that we do all we can, like I say, to get the suspect into custody.
And that suspect is not in custody yet as of this time, but they are continuing with that investigation. Now over to the IRS. They say more than $1 billion in federal tax refunds are currently unclaimed. It involves refunds for the tax filing year of 2020 when filers got an extension during the pandemic. The agency says hundreds of thousands of people did not file their returns that year, so they did not get the refunds. So you still have until May 17th to claim your 2020 refund. And tomorrow is the 1st of April, also the first day of a new traffic pattern on Washington Road for this year's Masters tournament. A new traffic signal coming to River Ridge Drive, that intersection on Washington Road, and it's right across from Augusta National. On April 6th, there will be new routes on Berkman's Road as well. That will start, and you can head to our website at wrdw.com for more details on the changes. Now, the South Carolina women's basketball team, amazing streak, continuing the unbeaten streak this afternoon, advancing to the Final Four for a matchup with the third-ranked NC State Wolfpack women's team. And speaking of the Wolfpack, the 11th seed men's team knocked off Duke to reach their first Final Four in about 40 years. South Carolina plays the Wolfpack on Friday. Man, the Carolinas are off to the races this March Madness. Now, the latest coming up as workers start to remove pieces of the collapsed Baltimore Bridge. Next, after this break.
Emergency crystals.
Today, workers began cutting the steel beams of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. It's one of the first steps in reopening a shipping lane and economic lifeline for the city. CBS's Nicole Sanya reports.
These massive cranes and their operators standing by, ready to lift the debris trapping the cargo ship Dolly.
Behind me, about 1.5 miles away from the crash site, you can see the Chesapeake 1000. That is the colossal crane responsible for lifting up to 1,000 tons of twisted steel off of the container ship Dolly.
Crews making the first cuts into the mangled beams.
This is going to be a very complex process, so it takes a lot to make sure that it can be dismantled safely, to make sure that the vessel stays where it is supposed to be and doesn't swing out into the channel.
Seconds before the Tuesday collapse, Maryland Transportation Department police officers calling on scanner traffic.
Hold on traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching and just lost their steering.
Rushing to shut down traffic on both sides of the bridge.
Route traffic on that site right now.
Police Union President Jim Krasinski.
3 officers from the Maryland Transportation Authority Police saved dozens of lives in an instant with their quick thinking.
6 families are mourning the death of their loved ones. Construction workers repairing the bridge when it crashed into the river.
El Señor es contigo.
And on Easter Sunday, parishioners gathered at this church to remember them.
Nuestros 6 hermanos.
Our 6 brothers that died from the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse, the pastor said. We must help them face the empty tomb.
And right now, there are a handful of fundraisers to support the families of those victims. As of this morning, the Baltimore Civic Fund has received almost $300,000 in that support. Now, a bit more up north, a statue honoring a beloved dog that supported Boston Marathon runners was unveiled in Massachusetts. It's for Spencer, a golden retriever that became known for holding his Boston Strong flag for thousands along the route. He died in February after several battles with cancer, but this statue in his honor was revealed yesterday, and his owner spoke about what the statue means to him.
Some tough times lately, and I think it's something that just everybody can look at. It's a great story, and look, even if you don't know his story, how can you not look at a statue with a sign, a dog looking up holding some positive flags? Like, how could that be a bad story?
Spencer's statue is on mile 2 of the Boston Marathon course, and the best boy in the best way. Now the box office top 5 is up next after this break on News 12 at 11.
Has a life change
every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Connect with us for a time of worship, prayer, and Bible study with Pastor David McKinley.
I think it's just vapor and flavors.
Beeping.org.
Trust meteorologist Emily Acton for your first alert.
Every weekend in March, a sequel or a franchise has topped the box office, and the final weekend of the month was no different. David Daniel has the early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The religious horror movie Immaculate fell to 5th place with $3.3 million. Kung Fu Panda 4 took 4th on ticket sales of $10.2 million for a domestic total of $152 million. Dune Part 2 is at $252 million domestic after a 3rd place weekend worth $11.1 million.
There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who are they gonna call?
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire dropped 65% in its sophomore weekend, earning $15.7 million, good enough for 2nd place.
Hey, what did you tell him?
Godzilla Kong: The New Empire exceeded expectations in its opening weekend, roaring to the top with $80 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Man, Godzilla -1 wasn't enough. They needed to throw King Kong to team up with Godzilla. I mean, it sounds like a plot generated by AI. I mean,
My dad loves
Wild.
the Godzilla movies, or the King Kong
the
movies.
King Kong times Godzilla movie, though.
I'm just kidding.
You heard of that one?
He'll get that joke. He really hates those
Oh,
movies
boy.
anyways.
Okay.
Anyways, looking at this beautiful background behind me, it's spring. If you haven't noticed out there, it's warm as well. Saw right around 80 this afternoon, and that's going to be the same story for our Monday and Tuesday. So, going to see plenty of this warmer weather, but it's not going to stick around too long. Once we get to the end of the week, we'll see a little bit of a cool down. That's because a cold front is moving through really early Wednesday morning. That's going to bring some rainfall. So we'll get into that in just a second. Right now, we're going to take a look at current temperatures. This is current. It's a little bit after 11 p.m. and we're sitting in the 70s. For some of us, upper 60s in other spots. So we'll only cool off a few more degrees overnight tonight. But good news is conditions are dry. We're just picking up on a little bit of ground clutter there. That's what you're seeing, that blue on the radar. But overall, we are dry, expecting to stay dry again overnight tonight. A little bit of cloud cover will come into play for our Monday, and we'll still warm up though to those lower 80s. There's some broken clouds out there for the afternoon. Still gonna see the sun.
Again, roaring to the top with $80 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Man, Godzilla -1 wasn't enough. They needed to throw King Kong to team up with Godzilla. I mean, it sounds like a plot generated by AI. I mean,
My dad loves
Wild.
the Godzilla movies, or the King Kong
the
movies.
King Kong times Godzilla movie, though.
I'm just kidding.
You heard of that one?
He'll get that joke. He really hates those
Oh,
movies
boy.
anyways.
Okay.
Anyways, looking at this beautiful background behind me, it's spring. If you haven't noticed out there, it's warm as well. Saw right around 80 this afternoon, and that's going to be the same story for our Monday and Tuesday. So, going to see plenty of this warmer weather, but it's not going to stick around too long. Once we get to the end of the week, we'll see a little bit of a cool down. That's because a cold front is moving through really early Wednesday morning. That's going to bring some rainfall. So we'll get into that in just a second. Right now, we're going to take a look at current temperatures. This is current. It's a little bit after 11 p.m. and we're sitting in the 70s. For some of us, upper 60s in other spots. So we'll only cool off a few more degrees overnight tonight. But good news is conditions are dry. We're just picking up on a little bit of ground clutter there. That's what you're seeing, that blue on the radar. But overall, we are dry, expecting to stay dry again overnight tonight. A little bit of cloud cover will come into play for our Monday, and we'll still warm up though to those lower 80s. There's some broken clouds out there for the afternoon. Still gonna see the sun, so not a total cloudy day, but that might be the story come Tuesday. We could see overcast skies throughout the greater part of the day, maybe a few broken clouds by the afternoon, and we're still gonna warm up though into those lower 80s by the afternoon hours. Rainfall does come into play though, at least for the state of Georgia and some portions of South Carolina late Tuesday, but not going to impact us here in the CSRA until early Wednesday morning. So here's the timed out map for us. It's around 6:30 p.m. Tuesday. Again, take this with a grain of salt. This isn't Bible of exactly what we are going to see, but rain is starting to move through the Birmingham area, through Atlanta around 2-3 a.m. Eventually going to cross over to us here in the CSRA, but should be out of our hair by around 9-10 a.m. So that's some good news. And then after that, we're going to see the sun for the afternoon for our Wednesday. So again, Wednesday morning, that's when we're going to see that rain chance come into play. Windy conditions going to continue really up until this front and even a little bit after. So tomorrow, wind gusts could be up to 20, maybe even 25 miles per hour. Tuesday, still looking like those wind gusts relatively high, around 25 miles per hour. And then once we get after that front moving through, we could see those wind gusts a little bit warmer than that. So that's all due to this cold front, again, that's expected to move throughout the middle of the week. So here's just a quick look at what we can expect. Again, that warmer air going to stick around for the beginning of the week. Colder air comes in by Wednesday. And again, we're going to see those temperatures again drop off into those 60s for the end of the week. But sunny sky conditions for our weekend, next weekend, Craig.
Loving the awesome weather for our weekends. Too many bad weekends. But thanks for that, Emily. And as we head to break, here's a live look at the Statue of Liberty and your winning lotto numbers.
Answers to your...
Well, we didn't see any rainfall today, not expecting any for the start of our work week, but I'll have one more look at your forecast coming up. Well, looking at the next...
Research is being shared all over the world.
Well, looking at the next 7 days, not too bad. We're starting off our week with highs in the lower 80s, so well above average. Going to see those rain chances, though, come into play early Wednesday morning. Maybe a couple thunderstorms there as well. And then a windy into our work week, but sunny. We'll be in those 60s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, looking beautiful for next weekend, Craig.
Thanks for that, Emily, and thank you all for joining us here on News 1226 at 11. I'm Craig Allison, but be sure to tune in with Nick and Zana tomorrow morning, and happy Masters season.